KTSM 9 News after the game starts right now.
A Sunday night beatdown and a statement made by the Seattle Seahawks. They're a contender in the NFC after tonight's 38-14 win over the Washington Commanders. Thank you for sticking with KTSM 9 News after the game. I'm Andy Morgan alongside Kelly Horzen and Robert Bettis. You know, guys, we've been spoiled this season with a lot of great Sunday night games. This was certainly not one of them. A dominating performance by the Seahawks from start to finish in this one.
Yeah, that's right. And I really thought the Commanders possibly could be in it, especially when you look at what they did last year. But I just don't think they have that same fight that they had this season as they do this season. I've kind of been waiting to see, crossing my fingers, if they can just squeeze out that juice. But I think we're halfway through.
I am so glad that I picked the Washington Seagulls to win because when they texted me, do you want to go for Washington? I said, absolutely, give me those Seagulls.
Well, you see, it's not the state of Washington, it's Washington,
D.C.
You see how you mixed that one up?
Yes.
Oh.
So we gave you the Commanders.
Oh, okay, well, I need a little more clarity, you know. I can't engage my supernatural.
Robert Bettis, the lover of the football? I thought you were all over this.
I am the lover of the football. I can't get enough.
Well, let's take a look at the
Does that mean I'm worse on my record?
Yeah.
I was the only one.
There you go.
I was the only one that went for the. Oh man, are you kidding me?
We weren't surprised in this one.
What's
either,
my record now? What is that?
I believe
6 losses?
3-6-1.
3-6-1?
Yeah.
Which means, Robert, you're for every one game you're getting right, you're getting 2 wrong at the moment.
I mean, you're not too far behind Sam, though. Sam is 4-5-1, and then we're all actually pretty close. Me and Andy 2 games in front, 6-3-1. So next week's going to be a pretty close game as well. I think that will come down.
Steelers and Chargers we just saw, leaning Chargers here early, although the Steelers looked formidable against the Colts today. So it was a great Sunday of NFL football.
Yeah, we had a lot of close ones. We also had a lot of upsets, I would say, as well. Of course, Commanders, Seahawks, just one of many games that we had this afternoon. We're going to go over a couple of highlights. We're going to start with one that featured El Paso and Aaron Jones and the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Detroit Lions over in Michigan. It was J.J. McCarthy's return, his first game back since his second game of the season where he suffered a high ankle sprain. 4th and 4 for the Lions. Jared Goff sails this one to Sam Laporta. Still on his feet. He's going to drag Minnesota's defense into the end zone. Lions up 7-0. Now Vikings on the response. McCarthy to Justin Jefferson on the one-handed grab reels this one in to tie this game. 10-17 to go in the first quarter. Later in the first, McCarthy to T.J. Hawkinson will give the Vikings its first lead of the day, up 14-7 after this. Same score to start the second. 9:53 to go. Lions tie it in 4th and goal. David Montgomery bulldozes his way into the end zone and knotted up at 14. Second half, a field goal will put Minnesota up 17-14. Vikings defense also looking like they found their footing again. Blake Cashman will punch this one out. Vikings recover. Minnesota ball. McCarthy in trouble, will go on the run, and he's going to take this one himself all the way back to the house to record his second rushing TD of the year. Vikings extend its lead 23-14. Now 55 seconds left in the third. Lions in the red zone looking to close in. A huge sack for Eric Wilson. Goff swallowed up on third down. They'll be forced to settle for the field goal. Fast forward, under 2 to go in the game. Vikings up 27-17. Goff is going to unleash this to Jameis Wilson. Originally called out at the 2-yard line, will be overturned and ruled a touchdown. Not enough time for Lions to make the comeback. Minnesota defeats Detroit 27-24. Another close one today. Always a good matchup between the Chiefs and the Bills. 8 to go in the first. Buffalo touchdown. The Josh Allen to a wide open Dalton Kincaid pass. Bills up 7-0. Same score. Very start of the second. It's going to be a direct snap to Rashee Rice. He will take it in for the score to tie this game at 7. A field goal will put the Chiefs in front 10-7. Bills will retake this lead with 6:39 to go before break. Ty Johnson will find his lane to give the Bills the 14-10 edge. Now Bills add 6 more headed into the locker room at half, up 21-13 following the QB keeper by Allen. This touchdown making history as Allen now has the most rushing TDs by a quarterback in NFL history. Fast forward, 11:32 to go. in the game. Bills up 24-13. Fourth down tutty for Kareem Hunt. Kansas City goes for 2 to make this a 28-21 game. Buffalo still in front. Bills defense will take care of the rest, though. Buffalo tops Kansas City 28-21. And finally, again, a similar score game. Colts at the Steelers. 13th play of the drive. 4th and inches. Daniel Jones on the keeper for the first points in today's games gives Colts the 7-0 lead. 6-12 Steelers ball. It is going to be fumbled at the goal line, but recovered by Jalen Warren for the Steelers. Touchdown to tie this one at 7 apiece. Now, same score. Jones, with just 1 interception headed into today, will be picked off by the Steelers 3 times this afternoon, one of which came on this Peyton Wilson grab. Pittsburgh capitalizes on the opportunity. Rodgers to Pat Freiermuth will put the Steelers up for the first time of today, up 14-7. Fourth quarter, Pittsburgh is going to extend this lead on the field goal. 17-7. Warren records his second touchdown of the day. Pittsburgh on top, 24-7 with 14:21 to go in the game. 4:31. Colts with his second touchdown of the day, but this is going to be too little, too late for Indy. Steelers are going to hand the Colts its second loss of the season, 27-20. And taking a look at other scores today across the league, Giants are going to fall to the 49ers 34-24. Chargers a bit closer, I think, than probably most people thought against the Titans, 27-20. Patriots narrow victory over the Falcons, 24-23, moves New England's win streak to 6, and low scoring game for what we've seen so far today. Denver is going to defeat Houston 18-15, and then over to a high scoring game. Bears are going to top the Bengals 47-42. Another surprising one, Panthers over the Packers 16-13. This one is going to make sense, though. Rams will beat the Saints 34-10, and Jaguars defeat the Raiders in overtime 30-29. So a lot going on in week 9 of the season, the halfway mark. A lot of close ones and a lot of upsets. Andy, players underperforming, overperforming at this point in the year. Of course, a lot of teams are also battling injuries, so you got to take all of this into consideration, especially if you're a fantasy manager like me, yourself, and a lot of other people out there.
Yeah, a lot of football fans out there. Hard to believe it, Kelly. Week 9 of the NFL season, which means we just have 4 weeks left in the fantasy football regular season, as most leagues have playoffs kicking off in week 14 of the season. And it was a big scoring day in the fantasy ranks, especially with a couple players back in your lineup after some injuries and bye weeks, of course. Let's start with studs for week 9. It has been up and down year for Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, but today was a high with Williams netting 38.7 fantasy points. Williams threw for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also caught 2 passes, one of those for a touchdown. A huge day for Williams. The Rico Dowdle takeover is on in Carolina. Dowdle had 25 carries on the day for $130, 2 touchdowns. Congratulations if you got Dowdle off the waiver wire just a few weeks ago. Drake London was back after missing last week for the Falcons. 9 catches, 118 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He was the number 2 scorer in all of fantasy this week, only not to be outdone by this guy. Brock Bowers hasn't played a game since week 4, hauled in 12 receptions for 127 yards and 3 touchdowns for the Raiders today. Fantasy owners just elated that he's back in their lineups. Now, as for the duds, the Packers lost another head scratcher today, and Jordan Love wasn't very good. 273 yards through the air, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Not what you're looking for there. Kamani Vidal has been excellent since Omarion Hampton went down with an injury for the Chargers, but not today. 12 carries for 30 yards. That's it for Vidal. Better than Roma Dunze, though, who gave you a bagel, a donut, goose egg, 0, nothing, nada. Actually kind of surprising, too, considering Caleb Williams was so effective, and the Bears put up 47 points in their win, but Dunze just not involved at all. Tyler Warren has been actually one of the better tight ends in fantasy football this season, but he was rather pedestrian today. 5 catches for 26 yards on 7 targets. Better days ahead for Warren. And Kelly, this week's going to be really, really telling because you have the NFL trade deadline. That is coming up on Tuesday, and it's really twofold because you have guys like Breece Hall, Jalen Waddle, Jacoby Myers, David Njoku for the Browns, all being rumored to be traded. So take, for instance, a guy like Breece Hall. If he ends up getting traded, obviously it means something different for Hall. His situation changes, but also for his backup, Isaiah Davis, all of a sudden he becomes the starter in New York. So definitely something to keep an eye on as the trade line. That'll be on Tuesday.
No, really, teams as we know it halfway through the season, what we could see for the second part of the season could be completely different. And as we mentioned, a lot of injuries, a lot of close games. All of a sudden, these games that are close can be flipped, and the other teams are coming out on top. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. Well,
fun day of football.
Yes, Andy, thank you. And more sports and news coming up at 10 just right after.
Future to chance. If you've been in a serious accident, call Labinati Law Firm to fight for you.
In its first home playoff match since 2021, Locomotive FC played host to the Phoenix Rising last night at Southwest University Park in a win-or-go-home situation now that we have entered the quarterfinals of the postseason. It's a team the club hadn't lost to this season. Locos taking the draw and win against the Rising earlier this year. First half, Darius Johnson flying down the field takes the shot. Sebastian Mora coming up with the save in for Jamali Waite. Rising trying again on the corner kick. Mora again will get this one out of here. The second attempt for Phoenix will be a bit wide right. Now El Paso with the chance for a shot on goal. Alvaro Quezada on the takeaway will flip this out to Eric Cavillo to Amando Moreno, puts the brakes on and crosses it to Gabby Torres. Will tap it, but this one is going to be saved. Now seconds before halftime, 3 minutes into extra time, Quezada gains possession once more and is going to take this one to goal. He's going to let it rip, but this one is going to fall off target. Scores will remain at zeros at half. Same score, 72nd minute. A definite shirt pull here by the Rising, but El Paso's Frank DeMora is going to shove back in a response, and he's going to be handed the red card for doing so, forcing the Locos to play a man down. So with 10 players out on the field, score is still held at zeros. 85th minute, a handball in the box by Tony Alfaro is going to set up Charlie Dennis up for the PK, and this one is going to put the Rising up 1-0, and that is going to give them the 1-0 victory, eliminating the Locomotive from this playoff season.
It's just tough. It's just tough to lose like that. I mean, most of the guys, like almost all the guys, should be proud of what we done this year. You know, after coming back from last year where it wasn't so good, to be able to secure a home game, it was super important for us. We definitely could have came out with a win, but just tough towards the end. You know, some mistakes we made, but it is what it is. It's part of the game.
With some of the stuff that happens in the games is out of our control, and we couldn't, you know, come back from it, and it kind of hurt us a little bit, obviously. And you could see, you know, the guys obviously still fighting and stuff, but it definitely hurt us. I feel like bringing back, you know, the base of the group is going to help a lot. You know, like Armando said, that it was a very good locker room in terms of everyone got along with each other. There was no one doing their own thing, and I feel like that is a big help in terms of team chemistry, you know, team mentality, and everybody believing in each other. And obviously that showed throughout the whole season, and obviously even tonight we didn't give up.
The 2025 season, now looking ahead to 2026, going under year 2 under head coach Wilmer Cabrera. That's going to do it for me. For your look at sports here following the game, KTSM 9 News.
Speaking Rock, 122 South Old Pueblo Road in El Paso, Texas.
KTSM 9 News at 10 starts right now.
One man is dead and another has been arrested after a shooting this morning outside an apartment complex in East El Paso. Thank you for choosing KTSM 9 News at 10. I'm Andy Morgan. Details remain limited at this time, but here's what we know so far. Now, according to El Paso police, a man in his 40s was killed and another man in his 20s has been arrested. The call came in shortly before noon at the La Estancia apartment complex along Viscount. That is behind the Cielo Vista Cinemark. Police said the shooting happened outside of the apartment complex.
This male is deceased here at the scene. We believe during that time the officers gathered information and were looking for an individual. We have taken one male in his 20s into custody at this time.
It is unclear what led up to the shooting, but we'll be sure to keep you updated both on air and online at KTSM.com as soon as we learn new information. Let's talk weather now with Chief Meteorologist Robert Bettis. Robert's that time of the year that is absolutely perfect. That was one of those days today. A little windy, of course, kind of over the weekend, maybe Halloween, but today it's exactly how you want it.
How many of these are we going to get this year?
Because hopefully much more to come.
Right. Oh, it's so good. It's going to get better. If you like it warmer, you're going to love this week as we return to the 80s. 78 our official high temperature today. Normal this time of year, 73. Record 87, and that was set back in 1983. Right now at the International Airport, it is 61. We've got a light breeze, 5 miles per hour, clear skies. Goodness, this weather is gorgeous. Well, this will be what I would like to call the week without a cloud. Oh, we might see one in about 9 days, but it's going to be pretty sunny all the way. Now, tomorrow we're going to pop up to 82 degrees in the afternoon, even warmer on Tuesday, and Wednesday we come back down to 82. I'm going to have your detailed forecast. We'll talk about the one cool front in the long-range forecast, all coming up in just a little bit. Andy.
All right, Robert, thank you very much. El Paso police need your help in finding a violent robber who beat and robbed a man at gunpoint last month in south central El Paso. Police say this happened back on October 2nd around 9:30 p.m. on Pera Avenue. The man was outside of a home with his family when another man with a gun walked through the driveway and pointed the gun at the victim. The suspect demanded the victim give him everything and hit the man on the head with the weapon. Police said the man then fled with 2 necklaces that the victim was wearing. The suspect is described as a white or Hispanic male in his 20s or 30s, 5 feet 9 inches tall. Anyone with information on the robber is asked to call Crime Stoppers to the number you see on your screen. And in Juarez, 5 people are dead and 1 person is seriously injured. This following a car crash this morning. Now, just a warning, the video may be graphic for some of our viewers. Our crews tell us that it happened on Panamericana Avenue. This is video from nearby showing the moment leading up to the crash. It's being reported that the driver of a car allegedly ran a red light and hit a truck, causing it to flip and then catch fire. 2 people in the car and 3 women in the truck died. Well, KTSM is your local election headquarters, and Tuesday is Election Day. And on the ballot for Texans, you have 17 propositions to amend the state's constitution, the majority of them dealing with tax cuts and tax bans. KTSM 9 News reporter Jesus Baltazar breaks down how these might impact property tax bills in Texas and even more so in El Paso. Jesus files this report.
I would say these propositions are more important to El Paso than almost any other county in the state due to the high tax rate.
Gill says the most important proposition related to property tax relief will be Prop 13, which would increase the property tax exemption for school district taxes, providing tax relief to all El Paso homeowners.
The average homeowner in El Paso is going to save around $432 if this gets approved. Based on the increase from the previous $100,000 to the $140,000 exemption.
Gill said that Prop 13 won't cost school districts revenue they would otherwise get from these property taxes because the state is reimbursing them for that loss, a courtesy that won't be extended to county governments impacted by other propositions.
70% of the county's budget is already going to what we call unfunded mandates. That means the state forces us to do certain things, provide certain programs and services, but they make us pay for it locally. They do not reimburse us. They do not give us money to pay for those things.
Commissioner Stout says Proposition 7 and 9, which would establish a property tax exemption for the spouses of military veterans who died from a service-related disease, and the tax exemption of up to $125,000 of businesses' inventory or equipment, will cost El Paso County over $4 million, with El Paso homeowners who don't qualify for those tax breaks picking up the tab.
When you give a homestead exemption to a certain group, that group will receive that, but if you're not part of that group, then the amount that, for example, the county will miss out on because of that exemption that is given will have to be spread out amongst the rest of the taxpayers who are not part of that group.
And our thanks to Jesus for that report. Now, another amendment to the Texas Constitution that you're going to see on your ballot on Tuesday is one that would change bail laws in the state. Now, State Proposition 3, that requires the denial of bail under certain circumstances to people who are accused of certain offenses punishable as a felony. This means judges would be required to deny bail to certain cases for people accused of committing specific felonies like murder and aggravated assault. But under the current Texas Constitution, most defendants have the right to be released on bail, something this proposition would change if the majority of voters approve it.
Point of bail is to ensure that the person shows up to court and that the community remains safe while the case is awaiting its final outcome. And so during the hearings, that's what the judge is going to be looking at. Is this person a flight risk? Is this person a danger to the community? If the judge agrees, they will be detained without bail.
Now, critics of the proposition argue the policy could potentially strain the court system and increase jail capacity, ultimately resulting in higher costs to taxpayers. But this is something the DA said his office is aware of and isn't necessarily concerned about, citing judicious deliberation when seeking detainment in El Paso County. And of course, Election Day once again is on Tuesday. We have a full election guide up on our website. That's KTSM.com. Now, meanwhile, Texas Senate Bill 1120, that became law 2 months ago. And this is happening across the state of Texas, but its implementation, it has significantly boosted protections for victims of family violence. The law includes an amendment supported by the El Paso County Attorney's Office, which extends protective orders by 2 years if related legal cases are ongoing. El Paso County Attorney Cristina Sanchez is calling SB 1120 landmark legislation. She hopes it will encourage victims of family violence to come forward.
If you are a victim of a crime, please report it. Please come forward for yourself and for your family members. Reporting it and being engaged with local law enforcement is important because it makes our community safer at the end of the day. And this is of even more importance with family violence cases where we see victims and their families, if there's children involved, suffer in silence. There's so much stigma. There's so much that it still needs to be overcome in reaching individuals who are victims of domestic violence to come forward. There's a lot at stake. It takes a lot of courage for individuals to come forward.
The county attorney adding that this legislation broadens the legal definition of family violence. It allows more victims to receive legal support. You can watch that full interview up on our website, KTSM.com. Well, the El Paso Motorcycle Coalition holding its annual Toy Run Parade. And coming up, how this annual event will benefit local kids this holiday season. Plus, the Dallas Cowboys, they need a win in the worst way against the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to preview Monday Night Football a little bit later in sports. Thanks for choosing KTSM 9 News at 10, putting local first.
People ask me, why do I love the football so much?
When I told Robert that Super Bowl 60 would be on our channel, KTSM, he just stared at me for like 20 minutes.
I love the falling down.
I'm painfully aware that Russell Wilson won't be bringing the Giants to the Super Bowl this year, but nonetheless, I'm always excited for the game, no matter who's playing.
I love the flinging of the ball.
Yeah, we're not too sure if Robert's ever watched a single football game in his life.
Well, I love the running back and forth.
I think the Denver Broncos are going to be playing it. Who they'll be playing, I don't know. But for sure the Broncos.
Sunday Night Football on NBC is back, and so too is Robert's the football antics, whatever that means.
I'm always excited for the Super Bowl, but I know KTSM is thrilled to be the home of Super Bowl 60.
KTSM 9, your home of Super Bowl 60.
superior smooth taste worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
Your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
Andy Morgan, if you trust me at all, I'm going to caution you from taking one more year as a family photo, or it's going to become a tradition and then you're trapped, my friend.
Kind of like you, right?
Okay, so you're...
Oh, man. I think King Tritus, is that what it is?
King who?
Triton.
King Triton?
My mistake.
King
My
Triton?
mistake.
King Triton, of course, does sleep, and he has a set of pajamas. Very nice. What about your lovely wife there?
She is Ursula. I know that one.
Ursula. I like the hair.
From The Little Mermaid.
What's she holding there?
That's one of her, what are those, eels? Electric eels? Something like that.
Oh, electric eel. And then, of course, Margot is...
Flounder.
What?
She's Flounder.
Oh, she's a little flounder.
Have you not seen The Little Mermaid?
You know, my kids are in their 20s.
It's been a little bit.
I've checked out.
She was so cute too. So this was actually the first year we've been able to go trick or treating with her. She was only, I think, like 8 or 9 months last year.
Yeah, but you don't let her have candy yet.
No, but she knows it means something because people were putting candy in her basket. So she's walking around with this basket, right?
Yeah.
And like every once in a while, it'd get too full where candy would drop. And all of a sudden, I just feel a tug on my hand. She goes back and very carefully picks it up and puts it back in, and then you could not take her basket from her.
She doesn't know what it is yet.
But she knows it's important.
She knows it's important.
Yeah.
Smart dad. You're teaching her well.
Can't wait for next year.
We had all of 15 kids at our house because they're working on the streets, and they had the signs up, so...
A little bit of a down year this year from everyone, especially for a Friday night.
It's all right. It's all right. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're in November. Oh, my goodness, was it pretty today. 78 degrees. Are you kidding me? Good. Look at that beautiful sparkling lights. Would you want to live anywhere else on the planet? I don't think so, my friends. I don't think so. 78 official high today. That's 5 above normal. Record 87 set back in 1983. These were the low temperatures from this morning. You were at 39 Las Cruces, 45 at the airport, 48 Juarez. High temperatures, of course, climbed to 73 Alamogordo, 79 Deming, 79 for Juarez, and 76 for Van Horn. I nominate 78 as my favorite temperature. Oh my goodness. Let's compare to other towns. 68 Dallas, 74 Austin and San Antonio, 91 out in Phoenix, and Albuquerque 75 today. Look at this satellite radar composite. We are in a very typical pattern for fall. We've got a general ridge of high pressure. That's why temperatures are so far above normal, and they're about to go more above normal as we cruise into the low 80s in the work week ahead. 49 is the temperature in Las Cruces right now. We've got calm winds, dew point at 20. Here are the temperatures in your neighborhood. Now, if you like today, you're going to love tomorrow, only we'll add about 4 degrees to the afternoon high. So it's going to get even prettier, and the winds are going to be light. Here comes your exclusive 9-hour forecast for tomorrow. I drove around with the top down taking pictures so that I could use them in my weather graphics. Hope you like it. High tomorrow, 82 degrees with sunshine, light winds, just absolutely gorgeous. Allergy-wise, an 8 tomorrow, and then 2 9s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Your low temperatures tonight, 41 Alamogordo, 39 Deming, and 48 for Juarez. High temperatures tomorrow, 79 Alamogordo, 81 for Deming, 83 Juarez, and 80 for Van Horn. Tonight for you, Las Cruces going down to about 44 degrees. Clear skies, a very nice outside, mild night tonight, and then 79, your high temperature tomorrow with all the sunshine you'd ever want to enjoy. For us tonight, 48 at the airport, about 44 down in the valley tonight, and then 82 high temperature tomorrow. Now, only KTSM gives you 9 full days of weather. And my goodness, will I be very unstressed this week. Sunshine at 84, gorgeous on Tuesday, 82, perfect on Wednesday, perfection achieved. A little windy at times to about 30 miles per hour Thursday, 84. Cooler on Friday at 79. Breezy but sunny on Saturday. Finally. Cool front comes in on Sunday, dropping us to 69. We'll wake up to 40 Monday morning, and then we'll start warming up again. Don't go anywhere. More KTSM 9 News coming up.
journey continues on. We're with you. Thank you for your service.
Well, today bikers hit the streets for a good cause. The El Paso Motorcycle Coalition held their annual Toy Run Parade. The coalition says the Toy Run Parade was started by bikers to help underprivileged children in the El Paso community. Participants rode down Sunland Park and onto Doniphan, making their way to the County Coliseum where they dropped off their toys. This was the 43rd annual parade for the coalition. Warner Brothers film One Battle After Another, featuring Leonardo DiCaprio, brought in close to $6 million for El Paso. That is according to Destination El Paso. Now, the film was directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, and it utilized El Paso as its filming location, which economically benefited a wide range of businesses in the community. The movie was filmed over a period of 18 days in May and June of last year, and all filming locations were primarily used at night, which limited impact to downtown businesses. Switching back gears over to sports, Kelly Horzen joins us now. College football season starting to get to the nitty-gritty, and if you're New Mexico State, it's really now or never.
Yeah, and I was just looking back to the title of the last story you did, One Battle After Another. That's the story for New Mexico State.
Yeah.
One battle after another. They play well on defense, and then offense, they just can't take care of the ball, therefore, in turn, just absolutely exhausting its defense, then, in turn, giving up points. So it's really just one battle after another. Their run game suffering. So all in all, a pretty tough showing as of late, particularly yesterday in their loss against WKU. We're going to hear from head coach Tony Sanchez and what he had to say after that loss. Plus, it's going to be the same exact story for the Dallas Cowboys needing to get back on track as well, coming up tomorrow night in Monday Night Football against the Cardinals. We'll tell you more coming up in sports.
KTSM 9 and Newsenda Credit Union present this week's High School Student of the Week.
Hi, my name is Sebastian Gonzalez, and I'm a senior here at Eastwood High School in El Paso, Texas. Over the course of my high school life, I've involved myself with many of the extracurriculars here at Eastwood High School. My top organization that I've been a part of, though, is Student Council, as it's taught me many morals and many leadership and experience that I don't think I would have been able to learn anywhere else. However, I don't just limit myself here in school, as I involve myself with other extracurriculars outside of school. As of currently, I'm in the Congressional Youth Advisory Council for Veronica Escobar, leading and helping initiative within teenagers in El Paso, and I am also in the Double T Honor Society through Texas Tech University. Through Student Council and HOSA, I've helped lead and initiate blood drives here at Eastwood High School. These blood drives not only celebrated, but they also targeted direct issues like National Blood Donor Month and blood shortages across America. As of right now, I'm a Quest Bridge National College Match finalist, which means that I'm not exactly sure where I'll be going as of right now. However, I do know that I want to study biological or biomedical sciences at the university I'll be attending on the track to become a cardiothoracic surgeon. Right now, my biggest motivators in my life have got to be my parents. My father works endlessly and works hard every day just to provide for us, and he has been one of the biggest motivators in my life to pursue all that I do. And my mom, who supports me endlessly in all that I do, is just honestly so inspiring, and I'm so grateful for them both.
We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you.
Call or scan for your free writer's guide today.
And now, KTSM 9 Sports with Kelly Horson. Sponsored by Glasheen Vyas and Enderman Injury Lawyers.
Following Sunday Night Football, we just saw the Seahawks dominate the Commanders, so we're going to keep on the NFL. We're going to take a sneak peek and look ahead to Monday Night Football coming up tomorrow, featuring the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Dallas Cowboys. Let's take a sneak peek into the boys' competition coming up tomorrow night. Cardinals enter the matchup sitting 2-5, while the Cowboys sit 3-4-1. Some of the biggest storylines ahead of tomorrow night's game is the return of Kyler Murray for Arizona. In addition to, when you look at those 5 losses, they are no bum of a team. They dropped all 5 losses by a combined 13 points. So Cowboys shouldn't let that record get to them, as they have work to do as well of their own, coming off of a tough showing last week against the Broncos, both offensively and defensively. Here's Silver Star Nation reporter Mickey Spagnola on more keys for the boys ahead of tomorrow's game.
The inconsistency, some of the injuries they've had on defense, I think really hurts. I thought the troubling thing in the loss to the Broncos was the offense basically throw out the last garbage time touchdown, only scored 17 points. That was the first game I think the offensive line really didn't play well. To me, the key thing will be the Cowboys' offensive line has to play better than it did last week. And certainly the defensive line. One of the things the Cowboys do have to do is Murray's the team's leading rusher, and he hadn't played in the last 2 games. So make sure that he doesn't beat him with his legs.
Fun fact for your day, Murray is 9-0 at AT&T Stadium, dating back to his high school and college days. Cowboys looking to put an end to that tomorrow night. Kickoff from Frisco is set for 6:15 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow evening. And New Mexico State returned to its Saturday game day schedule, starting things back up with Western Kentucky on the road yesterday. Aggies looking for its first win since October 2nd. Toppers looking for its second consecutive. Over in Bowling Green, Kentucky, Aggies with a 3-0 lead, 9:51 to go in the second. Sony Apuyu will cut WKU's chance to get up on the board with an interception. Aggies with at least 1 turnover in every single game so far this year. NMSU is going to tack on another field goal to make it 6-0. Toppers on the 23. Rodney Tisdale Jr. to Matthew Henry. He has a wide open lane to tie this game at 6s. Extra points is going to give WKU its first lead, 7-6, 3:40 to go before break. Just over 1 to go before half. WKU lined up in a similar situation. Tisdale unleashes this to Mooseberry over the top. Toppers on top, 14-6 at the half. Second half now, New Mexico State's offense is going to continue to struggle. Nothing but field goals for them so far as they close the score 14-9. Logan Fife is going to be picked off by Avrion Cole to set things up over in Aggies territory, and Hilltoppers with its first rushing TD of the day. It's going to come from Vielle Wright, and this is going to make this game 21-9. This would be the start of a 21-point half for Western Kentucky, as WKU is going to defeat NMSU 35-16.
Tough game, it's tough. You look at a scoreboard like that, and you see a big discrepancy, and it's a game you actually had a chance to, to have an opportunity to win that game, and we just did not. I mean, we were very bad on offense tonight. Again, we're kicking field goals, not doing the things that we need to do on offense to give ourselves a chance to win that game. And then as the defense kind of wore down, and they kept getting again good field position in the second half, they took advantage of it and put it away. So extremely frustrating night. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I can't imagine we did too much offensively. Defensively, probably looks on paper a lot worse than it was. Again, those guys, we're not perfect by any means. We're not playing great on defense, but we're playing good enough early in games and in halves to give ourselves a chance. And we just got to get things going on offense. And our inability to run the football is really, really rare in its ugly head right now.
Speaking of those stats from yesterday, here are the numbers. NMSU collecting 176 yards of total offense, 110 of which came from its pass game, 66 from its run attack, while its defense gave up 429 yards of offense, 301 passing yards, and 129 on the ground against WKU's offense. Aggies look to bounce back this Saturday at home against Kennesaw State. And turning to UTEP football, they were off yesterday after the Miners wrapped its weekday game schedule on Tuesday against Kennesaw State. UTEP suffering the 33-20 loss to the Owls. A similar situation, they will look to bounce back after an offensive struggle in its latest showing. It was a game where UTEP was up until its offense and special teams gave up 16 points on mistakes, an aspect they hope to clean up ahead of Jack State this Saturday at the Sun Bowl beginning at 1 p.m. Now, Andy, you do play-by-play for the Miners, a vital game coming up this weekend. In your opinion, obviously this team, same kind of situation, strong on defense, but the offense putting them in tough situations. Where do they go from here?
It's been a really strange season for UTEP football. I didn't necessarily think that they would win 7-8 games like a lot of people were predicting, but I thought they would be more competitive. I thought they had an answer with Malachi Nelson. That obviously didn't work out, so Skylar Locklear back under center for this team. Got to get something going offensively somehow, some way. I just don't know where that offense comes from.
I mean, it kind of begs the question. I mean, we've seen Shea a couple times as well, a product out of El Paso, Franklin here. So when do you start throwing him in the mix? I mean, he's only a sophomore. Maybe just even at this point give him reps for next season. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play it, if they work on next year's team by getting those younger kids reps, or just continue to fight on this season.
Something else I'm looking at preparing for right now. We got college basketball starting tomorrow, UTEP and UTPB.
Yes.
Looking forward to that as well. Kelly, thank you so much. And we got one last look at your forecast.
Thunderbird Sweet Seat.
Hair and wardrobe provided by
This is one of my favorite Weather Watcher pictures. Brenda, look at this. The golf course out there at Painted Dunes, one of the most beautiful golf courses in the entire Southwest. And you capture the sun setting. I love it. News at KTSM.com. Here comes your 9-day forecast. There will be plenty of opportunities to capture the sun because it's going to be sunny all week. Maybe a couple of clouds by Tuesday, and I think I just wanted to change it up. 82 tomorrow, 84 on Tuesday. A little windy at times on Thursday. Really the only significant weather is a cool front that blows in late Saturday night into Sunday, so it'll drop us down to 69 degrees. Still sunny, a little windy on the western slopes, and then Monday back to perfect again.
Painted Dunes, my favorite public course in El Paso.
Fun fact for you.
Fun
Looks pretty
fact.
green too.
Look, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Good monsoon season, that's what that does.
See what you get when you get rain?
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
I've kind of forgotten.